Hello, I'm Mary Gordon from Roots of Empathy. I'd like to talk to you today about the temperament trait of rhythmicity. So, Jelliani is a baby, the first baby in your family. What a delight. He has regular sleep times. His nap times are completely predictable. You can plan your life. You have hot coffee because you know when this little baby is going to sleep and you know when this little baby is going to be hungry. And you have the assessment of yourself as being a competent and good parent because society tells you, according to the routines your baby follows around sleeping, you get judged as being a good parent or a bad parent, which is simply ridiculous. Because the temperament trait of rhythmicity, which simply means the predictability or unpredictability of your natural body rhythms. It's not something you orchestrate or train, it's something that gets delivered with the baby. So, not to burst your bubble, if your first baby was on the high end of the continuum of rhythmicity, it's a delight because it gives you a moment to breathe as a parent and to feel a sense of accomplishment that you are in sync with the baby and the world goes as planned. But just wait till Serena comes along 2 years later. And Serena is one of those babies who was completely unpredictable in her body rhythms. Serena never has a predictable schedule for sleep. As soon as you put her in the car seat, you're trying to keep her awake, and boom, she's out. Planning a nap, absolutely unsuccessful. Bedtime, in your dreams. So, this idea of Serena, who has very low body rhythms, on the lowest end of the continuum, people often judge you because you can't get your baby into a predictable routine. No, I can't come out, the baby's having a sleep. You are often judged as not being in control or not being a competent parent. And that's very unfortunate. And I think it's a bit of an important thing to explain rhythmicity because it's not to blame the baby or to shame the parent. Parenting is a challenging job at the best of times. But if you've got a baby with low rhythmicity, that is something that if you understand when they're babies, it will help you support that child and build sort of harmony in the family all the growing up years. Because in your family, you might have a child who's very low in rhythmicity, which means that you never know on waking them up if they're going to be well rested because you don't know how long they've slept or if they're ready to wake up. You might have another child whose internal alarm clock wakes them up predictably at a certain time every morning, which is gorgeous if you're trying to get that child organized because that child has high rhythmicity. That child will probably come to breakfast hungry and will eat whatever has been prepared. They also have an easier time with routines so that they're going to be able to get the things in their backpack and get ready for school with more ease than another child who's low on the rhythmicity scale, who is going to have trouble crawling out of bed, who is maybe going to arrive at breakfast not at all being hungry. They're not trying to give you grief, they just aren't hungry because their biological rhythms are not in a predictable timetable. So, if you fast forward to dinner time, another stressful time in families, but the one time possibly that you can all be together, even for a fleeting moment. So, the child who has very low rhythmicity may not be hungry when you announce dinner time. It's not that they're trying to annoy anybody, it's not a character flaw, they're not being difficult. So it is important, though, that if the routine of having dinner together is important for you, as routine is really important for children and for family harmony, it is an important thing to have a time that you can be together. It is really, I think, advisable that you might say to the child, I understand you're not hungry, but this is dinner time. So that the child does come to the table and you do persist with the routine. When our children are in early adolescence or older adolescence, they have more opportunity to be in control of how they organize their lives. And it's really helpful if, as a parent, we can have a discussion with them explaining, I'm just like you. I have very high rhythmicity. And for us, it's so easy to get organized and to plan things because we can count on bringing a snack because we know when we're going to be hungry. And we can count on when we need to go to bed because our body is telling us when we're going to bed. But for other members of our family, their body clock is different. So we need to figure out how we work together as a family so that we can have harmony. And for your child who may have very low rhythmicity, that I guess handling all of the predictable things in their day, like getting out the door in the morning, getting from one class to another class if they're in high school, getting to the bus on time, all of those things that they are now managing on their own. It's really helpful if they have an understanding of how this temperament trait of rhythmicity works for them, that they know they are challenged with routines, that timing is something that doesn't come naturally to them. They have to be able to watch and plan for the next thing in the day. And if they have the sense that you understand their challenge because maybe you or another member of the family or partner has a similar predisposition to rhythmicity, it makes it almost fun that you can joke about it, but it also means that the child has more control over understanding who they are and taking that understanding to how they live every day of their lives. And this idea of being in harmony with yourself and in harmony with your day and in harmony with your family makes everybody happier. And to be able to say to one of your children, I'm a complete disaster when it comes to routines. I've got no rhythmicity at all, so I have to work really hard to make sure that we all remember to do the laundry because it doesn't come to me automatically to do it. So I've assigned that to somebody else because they are high in rhythmicity and follow routines without any challenge at all. It takes all judgment and a blame away from individuals who inherently are super organized or not very organized at all. So it makes for almost a joyful celebration of our uniqueness in a family. It makes for teamwork, that you know if something has to happen, if you're going to do something in the family together, you want to get the person with the high rhythmicity to organize everyone to do it. So this whole idea of understanding our natural biological rhythms is a really practical way of giving ourselves permission to be who we are and really giving everyone in the family the right to be who they are, but knowing that we can help them moderate or bring up whatever the level is that is impacting how they live their lives. Because although you're born with a certain level of rhythmicity, birth is not destiny. That's the job of the parent, to take the child we have, to take ourselves as we are, and to surround them with encouragement and help them to live their best lives in the world, that is.